We're here on King Spotlight with Coach Jeff Knarr. Coach, thanks again for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, we got another Mid-Atlantic Conference game this weekend. Your team is traveling to Owings Mills, Maryland to play Stevenson University, who happens to be currently 4-0 and in first place in the conference. But before that game, let's just review last week's game very quick with Delaware Valley. Tough loss for the Monarchs, 26-10. Showed some good things in the game, but had a little bit of trouble defensively in the game. Talk about that.
Yeah, we kind of give up, big plays. We were our own worst, enemy in the game. We did some good things defensively, but then we had a couple, if we don't communicate, that's the whole key to defense. And guys are in the right spots, you can get, seen a little bit and give up some big plays. And, like I said, going in, we knew they have three good backs plus the running quarterback, and they want to run the football, and everyone has to be into a gap. We had a couple miscommunications where there was a gap open, and they were able to exploit us on that end. And offensively, we had didn't finish some drives as we did some good things moving the ball, but we got to come away with some points on some of those drives, and weren't able to do that.
Watching the game from the press box, your coaches really had a well-prepared plan for them. Your coaches were calling out their plays before they even happened, oftentimes before they even broke the huddle. Was it just a matter of it's hard to prepare for that kind of speed in practice? Yeah,
to simulate. Again, they can run really well. You can do the drills and get this timing, down the best you can. But we have periods where we go good versus good and try to mimic, their top plays with our top guys to try to get the speed and everything the same. But it's hard to do that from that standpoint. So that's the things where communication comes down, because you get an idea of what you're going to see and what you think you're going to see, and you're calling it out, and our kids are calling it out. But then you got to still go through your progression to make sure that's what you're seeing is happening, and then be in the right place to get it. So you do the best you can in practice. Our young guys are working hard to give us that good look, but you can't replicate it 100%.
In the second half, you had two scoring opportunities. One late in the third quarter, where on a fourth down you came up 5 inches short, and then later on in the fourth quarter, you had another opportunity deeper in their territory where you went forward on fourth down and were short by really a quarter of an inch, because the referee broke out a credit card to measure that distance. So how frustrating is that, and what steps can you take to try to correct something like that?
It was frustrating. As I think that the first one I got on, I thought the spot was a little off. The second one, I thought the spot was there. But the key was, both of those we were kind of in fourth and in long type deals. It wasn't a fourth and short or a medium. So the key there is kind of make it a little bit more of a manageable deal where you have a little bit more options and things where you can, when you throw the football, you already, have the yards. Where here, the protection broke down, so we had to run for it. So you're trying to make it all on your feet, and Tommy did, the best he could there. And the other one, the pass was right at the sticks, and like I said, it was a quarter of an inch, and I never saw, being that close and on a spot at all. So we just came up a little bit short. But the key thing is to just do a little better job in the other down, so we're not, in a fourth and 9 or fourth and 10 type situation.
Well, looking ahead to this week now, team's going down to Maryland to play Stevenson University. Stevenson's program is only 5 years old, but as a lot of people expected, they threw a lot of money into their program, and they're starting to turn the corner now. And they happen to be the only unbeaten team in the MAC with a 4-0 record, 3-0 in the conference. So talk about the progress that they've made.
Yeah, they're in a great area. We recruit Baltimore, in the Maryland area, heavy as well, and they live in it. They're right there, and there's a ton of talent. There's good football, played there, and then they're getting the Maryland kids to stay there, so they have a lot of talent to draw from. It's a city type of an atmosphere, so there's a lot to do for their kids, so it's an attractive deal. And they put a lot of money in the program, but they took over the Baltimore Ravens old complex. They have great facilities, so it was a really easy sell when you start a program for kids to come, and you can see the building blocks to be successful. Could be quicker, than some other startup, programs that have a little bit more obstacles in their way. And they've done a great job. They've had a great plan, and they've worked it. And I said they're getting the kids to go there, and you saw, the progress they made every year. Last year they were, pushed some people around and made won an ECAC game, and currently they're in first place. It's a great atmosphere to go down there. They got great crowds. They got a huge band. They're on TV. So it's like a Division I type of an atmosphere, and our kids get excited about that because it doesn't always happen all the time in D3 to play in exciting type stadiums that are loud and have that atmosphere.
Looking at the Stevenson offense, they're not putting up a lot of yards. They're averaging 337 yards a game, which It's not a little bit of yards, but it's not also a 450-yard offense either. They're averaging 128 yards rushing and 209 passing, but they're not as prolific as you might think an undefeated team being. So talk about what they do and how they've been able to maximize their talent.
Well, a lot of it is, I think they caused like 8 turnovers against Lev Val and some other teams, and then they played in a driving rainstorm against Lyco. So some other factors outside, like I think they've got some short fields with the turnovers, and then playing in some bad weather will limit that from there. But their offense is very efficient, and then they're very, very solid at every single position, so they can do a lot of things. Their quarterback's a veteran guy who's very good, with his play action pass, because they like to run the football, and they have very good, backs and big linemen to run the ball, and then they play action you, and with their good skill kids from there. So they're very efficient and good balance in their offense, and they've been able to take advantage of the opportunities that their defense and their kick game have given them with good field position and getting turnovers for them.
Well, their quarterback is Jeff Farrer, and he's thrown for over 800 yards so far and 10 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions, so he's clearly done a good job. The running game, they have 2 tailbacks that they seem to be rotating in. Keandre Burrow has 259 yards, and Pocky Brown has 166 yards. So talk about what those 2 kids bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, athletic. They run hard, so they can get the tough yards, but then they got good speed. They can get, they run to the edge with them, and good vision. I mean, what a good back does. They can get them, they can run their whole package with both of those guys, and they're good change-ups because they are, smaller guys a little bit. So they can get good change-up and mix up and keep a fresh guy in that, has got speed to get to the edge, but then also, got enough power and then oomph to run it up the middle, and then the good vision to see the holes and make the cutbacks when needed.
The receivers, they have 4 guys that are really catching the bulk of the passes on the outside, and all 4 guys have at least 10 catches, so they do seem that they have some versatility and balance at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, they spread people out. They have a variety of different screens to get the ball to different guys. That's it. When you got guys that are playmakers and you spread them out, you can count on the guys that come through for you. It makes it tough for a defense because you just can't isolate on, hey, take this receiver out of the game, and you really impact their passing attack. They have 4 guys that can do some good things, and they utilize them in a variety of ways. So we got to defend the whole field and defend their entire personnel.
Looking ahead to the Stevenson defense, the defense is really allowing some decent yardage this year. They're allowing 368 yards per game. But the thing that you mentioned earlier, Coach, is that they're really creating turnovers. The defense has forced 17 turnovers so far, including an MAC high 10 pass interceptions, while also causing 7 fumbles. So clearly that defense in creating big plays and turnovers has been a major factor.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, they have some good size, up front. And they're very athletic at the linebacker and their secondary, and a little bit veteran, in those areas. So they can, have, tight coverage for those guys on an island, and then so they've responded with good coverage of getting interceptions, and then good defenses secure the tackle, come in, strip the ball, try to cause fumbles, and they've been doing that very well. I think they're also getting to the quarterback. I think they have a pretty good number of sacks as well. So they're a good solid defense that's creating turnovers, which you want from there. And the yardage is misleading because they've jumped out on the people by getting these turnovers and everything. I mean, Lyco, I think they had a nice lead. In the first quarter, it might have been 28-7, and then it was, I think 21-0, at the half with Misericordia. So then teams are getting some of the yards maybe towards the end of the game when, it's already kind of put to bed. But when it still matters, that's when their defense, I think if you broke the stats down there, they're pretty stout, and obviously again creating those turnovers, which is challenge for us is ball security, is the key from there. So we can't allow them to make the plays and create turnovers and give their offense extra possessions.
Well, you mentioned quarterback sacks. Stevenson has 19 quarterback sacks in 4 games. That's almost 5 sacks a game. So that's really an impressive number. How are they generating that type of pressure on a quarterback?
I mean, they bring they're bringing some of their backers coming off the edge. Again, they got good size in the D line, but their size can move. They're not just big take up space, guys. They're athletic. They can attack a half a man, get to the edge, and go. They have a big nose. One of their noses that they sub in is a little bit of a smaller guy, but he's lightning quick, and they're beating people off the ball. And that's the key is that you get people get great ball get off and get them on their heels. Then you can you're doing good technique. You're going to be able to find a seam and hit it, and then get in the face of the quarterback and get the sack. So they're playing very, very good defense.
Well, I would certainly think that in order for us to be successful on offense, we have to do two things: protect the ball and protect the quarterback.
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly right. You always want to protect the football no matter what, and then we got to keep our quarterback, upright from, and breathing from the first play to the last play, because you go as your quarterback goes, and we saw great improvement in our quarterback play from 2 weeks ago to the week before to last week. It was very, very good, and we're seeing steady improvement there, and then we're looking to continue that play. So the key is, again, to keep those guys off our quarterback and him to continue to make good progressions and good reads so that we can move the ball through the air.
And how about our defense? They have to do a good job of containing their offense. So what do you expect out of them this week?
We can't give up big plays. I mean, again, you watch Stevenson again, like the guy, he's thrown 10 touchdowns, and a lot of them are, big pass plays where they catch people, napping when they run, and then again they do a great job with the play action, and then they get a guy deep, and then they're executing it, and we have a penchant for giving them some big plays. We did that last week, and we played pretty good defense, but you give it one big play, and that's all it takes. So we got to make sure that we're all doing our jobs and be in the right place and communicating every single play, and keep the ball in front of us, and then be able to tackle well from that deal, and we'll be all right. But we can't fall asleep and misread and think the ball's been handed off in play action and allow somebody to get behind us and give them an easy big play.
Well, Coach, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck to you and the Monarchs on Saturday when you travel to Owings Mills, Maryland, to play Stevenson University at 1 p.m.
Thank you very much.